Alright, time for the third title in the Sly trilogy. Well, the original one.
Alright, a lot of people's his favorite. Gee, what a shock.
Also, for the more original titles, Honor Among Thieves. Next, you're going to tell me that the sequel is called Revelations.
Yeah, seriously, a lot of people like to put Revelations in sequel subtitles for some reason.
Because they want to reveal stuff.
No, I can see it now. Sly 5 Resurrection, since back in the 90s, Resurrection was the most overused sequel word.
Alright, for Joba's Delight, we start in medias res. This is technically, we start with the beginning of the final level. To spray some pepper and, showcase what we can do. With Sly entering this island facility in South Pacific, which is a clear, direct reference to the island of Dr. Moreau. Where the goons are actually, mutated animals being combined together in freakish abominations. And here's where it goes. It's like you're blocking the title, for fuck's sake.
This is a medias res taken to its almost complete extreme. Actually, they usually use that for flashing forward to the middle of the game, not near the end.
To be fair, I don't believe this is fine.
I mean, imagine if other games did that.
And there you go, we started this. To be fair, I don't believe it's fine. It serves to, like I said, put some pepper and make you question, who the new characters are. And yes, there is also new Bentley's, the design of Bentley. I'm not really the biggest fan of this version of the character, but more on that later.
It depends.
The reason why Sly is here is because someone is drilling that particular piece of land, and the gang seems to be interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. We need some silhouettes to foreshadow stuff for the potential new members of the gang, because this is the game that has the gang expand a bit.
So this is where Persona 5 got this bit from.
Yes, Pedro?
It depends on both execution and what kind of story you're telling, Dwebs. Because it's like for example, like Memento tells its story backwards by starting with the ending, but the mystery of that movie is not so much how it ends; it's more so what are the specific circumstances that led to that ending. And when you see those at the end of the movie, suddenly the context of the ending completely changes. Yes, you technically already know what happens at the end when the movie starts, but you don't know the context and what it actually means. It's all about how you execute these kinds of things.
Hey, look
anyway,
Sly's got some new powers. He can distort reality.
Anyway, much like between Crash 2 and Crash 3, the model of Sly hasn't changed too much. Only a bit of touch-ups have been done a bit here and there, particularly to the animations of combat and the cane. But there you go. Here's to showcase one of the new members' power, the ability to use the RC chopper with a grappling hook to it. Some of these are presented in cutscenes, but you will actually be able to play segments like these later on in the game, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Agent Old Rock, rep for timber.
Whatever you said.
Let her rip, Old Rock. Balls.
And
Also,
Sly died.
No, don't worry.
It's all coming together.
Also, it seems that Sly has finally started taking seriously the whole codename thing that Bentley did.
And once again, we have no subtitles aside from those cardiac calls.
Considering Bentley's stuck in a chair now, you can understand why.
No, that's for later, Glibs. Don't worry, we'll see it before the end of the part. Actually, I think we're about to see it now.
Ball requesting door via Agent Monarch. Over.
Oh shit. There we go. Yeah, look closely. That's close.
One way
Maybe I should have stood back a bit for that.
No, Sly is too cool to stay away from the explosions.
Yeah, but if he's not careful, he will be cool as a corpse.
Okay, there you go. One touch-up that they did was to add this glowing yellow effect to the cane. It's fine, but it feels unnecessary to it. I mean, again, it's a cool effect and all, but Sly was never suited for heavy combat, even though this game tries to make it a bit more like that.
Like,
Sorry?
check it out. Sly's cane is now powerful enough to literally break a fan, which it was too weak to in previous
To be,
games.
no,
Yes,
to be fair,
that
Joe Wade had been capable of doing that since the first game. You could smash different types of objects. Okay, alright, here we go. Time to introduce our main villain. Yes, there we
Already?
go. Dr. M, voiced by the, sadly, late Rick May. You older fans might know him better for his role as Peppy Hare and Andros in Star Fox 64, but more recent fans, especially like me, will know him better for stuff like the Soldier class in Team Fortress 2. Hold on. Oh shit. Yes, Dweebs, we're going full Bond villain for the fact that just because one of his henchmen forgot to lock one door, Dr. M essentially poisoned his drink and waited to stay until now so he can collapse in the elevator.
Oh.
Again, we are out of the clockwork zone, but this villain does not need to be underestimated at all.
Got up the stakes somehow.
Water leaking into the lab? I'm on my way down. Oh, and get a janitor.
So what did he pull a you have failed me?
Pretty much.
You have failed me for the last time.
Well, it's a good Pedro, it's a good job he's not working for Spectre because his first time would have been the last time.
Well, Mr.
Anyway,
Bond,
Tio.
at least I'm gonna have the pleasure of finishing you off myself, and then he gets killed.
Unless you're Blofeld, because he can't follow his own rules.
Yes, Joe?
Regarding the fan thing, I distinctly recall, at least in the second game, them having to deactivate a fan because the cane couldn't
But in the
break
first
it,
game,
so...
you had to traverse some corridors that had metal pieces that you had to you actually smash.
So,
There you
maybe the
Come
cane
on,
just
1,
frustrates
2,
this
3.
game.
Sometimes it's that easy to lose.
Think about it. Sometimes
There
people
we
don't
go.
expect the most simple.
The entrance to the Cooper Vault,
Yeah,
Which,
typically
of
they don't think
course-
you'd be stupid enough to have your password
which
be
is
something that obvious.
with the cane has the key, as the key.
Child.
Why not just make it 0, 0, 0?
Oh shit!
Oh!
Or 001.
Sly Cooper, the new keeper.
Whatever Coopers are there.
His father, as we will know later, this guy worked for
This
him.
vault belongs to the Cooper family. You're trespassing.
No, my knight.
You can't steal from a thief!
Trespassing.
Oh, wait.
How you?
Yeah, technically he's right. He has purchased the entire property of the island, so you're kind of trespassing.
The vault. Hand over that cane.
Sorry, pal. Family heirloom. Buy a knockoff at the gift shop.
Ooh.
Also,
There
he
you go,
is
there's
a
Bentley
thief,
in his
as you
wheelchair.
yourself stated, so...
Yeah, by the end of Sly 2, Bentley had his legs crushed by Clockless Beak, so for this game, and also obviously the next, he will be in a super tech wheelchair.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically now,
Touch the beans.
no, nothing, because they were only for detection.
Yeah, if it were... Actually, it's a good job I'm not in game design, because I would have had those slice you to pieces.
Isn't that what happens during the free-fall section in some Generations, during the fight against the Egg Dragoon?
Well, I mean, that's a
Kind of.
boss fight, though. I mean, you'd expect those to happen there.
We're almost home free.
Okay, Bentley, there you go. Okay, can you create a passage for Sly? Thank you. Oh shit.
Ah,
A mutant!
There's no
Yep.
escape, Cooper.
And a giant one at that. Sly, I think it's a bit too big for you.
He'll think of something.
He always does.
Sly, it's not working.
Yeah, I can see that.
If he wants to eat this.
Sly, what are you doing? Oh, for fuck's sake. See, now that shit kind of happens, yeah, and now you're about to die. And
no,
that's
this
where,
is looking
and that's
good
where we
for
have the
him.
cliffhanger, essentially. Because as I will say
Well, we'll
that
see
now,
you in the fourth game, I guess.
more like we're basically flat life, his life flashing before his eyes.
Flash
Yep, that's right. Basically,
That's me. You wonder how it got in this situation.
Or
so basically, guys, the rest of the game, for the most part, will be Fly's laugh flashing before his eyes as he's about to get
Specifically on this per game. So yeah, the idea is that again, Sly is from a descendants of thieves, but it's logical that they decided to put their riches in one place, a collective, things.
Would you say they put it all in
You
one
haven't played the
piece?
first game.
So this game was released in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
It was there that I met my life.
It was very soon after it. Again, they wanted to conclude the trilogy as soon as possible.
Oh, a year before the movie Who?
Leave the crayons very.
We'd stuck together over the years, and our skill, our confidence, and our thieving reputation grew stronger with each heist. We thought that the good times would never end, and that our luck would never run out.
Yeah, about that.
which only made
That's
things
what happened at the end of the second game.
Mm-hmm.
Then I met this guy.
Yeah, this is a bit weird. There's a bit of, prefaction towards these events by saying that I met a person that worked for his father, and his father had a gang similar to the one that he has now. Max Winnie was the muscle, but while the brain of the operation, the equivalent of Bentley, was Dr. M. And he learns about the fact that there's this Cooper vault that has so many riches inside and can be only opened by the cane. But again, it feels as if this pre-prologue should have been expanded a bit, but because the game might have been a bit rushed, we decided to just relegate it to the cutscene potentially. I don't
That
know.
was sadly a bit of a thing in like the mid 90s to early 2000s. It's like, oh, when a series started, normally the installments would come out incredibly close to each
Also,
other.
like an idiot, Dr. M decides to drill through the entrance and not the rock around it.
Inside the place would take your
Of course.
Brilliant.
He probably wants to get to the center of it.
World-class thieves. Finding and
So yeah, for this operation requires not just the normal gang, but an expansion of it. So the entire game will be getting the gang together. Also, we have a title. Now, first thing first, you'll have essentially a tutorial room that will give you a roundabout of your moves and Bentley's. I think I decided to just combine the two before starting with the first episode to, making the pace a bit better.
And yes, there is a 2-player mode.
I actually haven't tried it. I think it's reserved for some of the mini games.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you've noticed that the black bars do not cover the entirety of the screen. That's clearly because they were made for the 4x3 format instead of widescreen leaves those
In
things down.
fact, if you take a look at the top right corner, you'll notice both of the top corners. Actually, on the corner. I think
at the bottom, Pedro.
Yeah, right there.
I get the idea that potentially we also put there to make the subtitles more readable, but I think we could have just removed them altogether for the port.
Well, I'm at the very least glad that they're at the very least trying to do something subtitle related, because back in the PS2 days, the only of the free platformers, the Ratchet & Clank series was the only one that bothered to have subtitles, and even then it was inconsistent. The American version of Ratchet & Clank 2 had subtitles, the European version did not. Not even English subtitles.
That's a weird thing.
As we mentioned in the previous game, even these games had subtitles. In some places, but in others not so much. Anyway, here you go. These rooms also allow you to teach you even the basics, the classic moves that you learned for the first game, like the spiral jump, for example, or the slide, or the crawling. But we will also teach you a couple of new tricks.
Gotta love this. That decision. We're gonna have subtitles in this game, but only in specific places.
I wondered, so do Europeans are Europeans allergic to subtitles, and that's why they decided not to include
My guess is,
subtitles in
well, that's the thing,
European
Jova. Apparently, people have deduced that because there are no because they didn't want to bother having multi-5
yeah.
subtitles.
So I guess they figured that, if English subtitles are there, then everyone else would complain about not getting their own subtitles. So they figured, let's just take out the English subtitles. That way, everyone is equal.
Yeah, you could not be able to hear the dialogue.
It reminds me a bit of a thing that Square Enix did 2 times with some of their portable games. For the CDO 12, they decided that for, at least for my country, I don't know if it for some others, potentially I think the Spanish version, that some of the subs will be there, like in terms of Italian subs, like I think for the cutscenes only, but everything else will be kept in English, like the moves, the descriptions, the flavor text for stuff, which made things kind of a bit pointless. So when you get down to it, at that point,
You might as well have
do
not
it.
bothered.
And the 3DS original version of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance was not localized, not in Italian nor in Spanish.
No.
Weird.
And when people made a fuss about it, both Nintendo and Square Enix kept pointing at each other, saying, "Ask them." So, as you can imagine, this went
You
nowhere.
both suck.
Thankfully, for the 2.8 version, they actually did bother to translate.
Thank God.
Although to be fair, the platformers Jack, Ratchet, and Sly fortunately don't have sound mixing issues. So as long as you're paying attention, you should still be able to hear the dialogue fine enough. It's in the PS2 God of War games that it becomes more of an issue. Blue Point did their best.
Especially 2.
Yeah.
2 is a huge problem of sound mixing. For the original version of the Italian dub was barely audible.
Okay. I do love some of the fourth wall jokes in this. So I literally says, let me guess. I need to move around the right analog stick.
Also, I like the fact that they changed the icon of the controller to resemble the DualShock 3.
And like Blue Point tried their best in the remasters to try to eliminate try to normalize the sound mixing, but yeah, there's only so much you can do when the voice clips are so low quality in terms of recording.
Oh, that reminds me. Have Blue Point ever made their own game at this point? I know that they finally moved up to
it was ironically, Joe, it was literally the first game they did.
Yes. Technically, their first game was actually I forgot his name, Blaster Master. I think that's the name, which was.
Wait. Let me check. No, Blaster Master is something completely different.
Okay, well, the point is, Joe, they made a space shooting game that was actually the first ever PlayStation Network downloadable game. Basically,
Blast Factor.
That's it, Blast Factor.
Ever since we've done nothing but ports or remakes.
Basically, what happened, Jova, was they made that game in record time, and Sony was quite impressed by their efficiency. So when Santa Monica was looking for a developer to remaster the first 2 games for the PS3, why don't you guys go talk to this studio, Blue Point? They seem to be very efficient at coding.
So we're probably cheap to hire, so why not?
And I guess the rest is history.
Yeah, and they made the God of War HD collection in just 3 months, according to them.
Wow.
Sometimes you'll need to get a better vantage point.
That shouldn't be too difficult.
I love how Murray pretty much just made a danger room at this point.
Actually, it's Bentley who did it. Murray...
Sorry, Bentley.
The entire first episode will essentially be getting back to Murray.
I'll wait till this is...
Let's put it to the test. Take a picture.
Basically, again, it teaches you even the basics that normally they wouldn't do, like, again, taking photos of objects that are in movement, for example, like the goons, stuff that you will need to do in the actual episodes proper.
If I recall correctly, this level is also, optional.
Yes, it technically is. I'm just showcasing for both the banter and, why not, to refresh.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's just like, it's always good to have, a sequel that has an optional tutorial. Like the first one.
Seriously?
All right.
You showed some real skill with a Monocucom's camera. Nice work.
Go ahead, Pedro. Don't worry. I'm telling Case.
Sure. That being said, Jova, yes, there is a rumor going on that Blue Point might be the next one to join the Sony's worldwide studios. And one of the big motivations for them is that they will get to finally make their first ever AAA original game of their own. because according to some of these insiders, they don't want to just be known forever for all of time as just the remake studio.
I can see why. I can see why you say that.
I can definitely see why. I mean, don't get me wrong. Remakes can be some of the most fantastic games of all time. But at the end of the day, a remake is taking something that was kind of already there. I can understand wanting to be known for, your own creative and completely pure installment here.
All right, at the cost of being at the cost of potentially being darkly hilarious, being a windshare only made Bentley kind of more agile compared to the first game. He actually can control much smoother, and he has thrusters that can allow him to jump even higher and longer distances.
It's pretty much the Oracle factor. Putting him in a wheelchair only made him more dangerous.
What I don't like about this costume is the helmet that he has. I kind of prefer the Explorer hat that he had. And some data mining suggests that he was supposed to have it in early development, but we changed it. Thankfully, Thieves in Time actually combines the two designs and gave him the Explorer hat, but with a wheelchair.
Weird, because usually whenever people do fan art of Bentley, more often than not, it seems that the helmet is the preferred design, at least from what I've seen.
No, that's, as far as I know, it's mostly the Explorer hat.
Maybe I guess we've just been working on different parts of the internet.
Potentially.
As for the helmet, I get why they included the helmet, seeing as how, it sort of just go with the whole crash test thing that he's got going for him, and how, he probably would want to keep his head pretty. And knowing Bentley, I could see him being extremely paranoid about safety after, well, what happened to him.
Yeah.
So,
also, the agility allows Bentley to perform all of his moves in a much faster capacity. Planting bombs, using the tranquilizer darts, and now he can actually start stealing things on his own. Sadly, it's not really as effective as a slice. You have to actually equip this as a gadget instead of having, pulling normal in dotation. It's basically a magnet with a fishing pole. You have to get close to the enemy and then pull back. It's a bit clunky, and I get the idea that, it's not really intuitive to use. So, with Infusing Time, they actually gave him a set of mechanical arms that function pretty much the same as Ice Cane in order to steal stuff.
My guess is that they wanted to differentiate him enough from Sly so that he didn't just feel like Sly, but better, essentially.
Someone in motion. Allow me to demonstrate. I just hold down the L1 button.
That said, I'll admit, I actually do like Bentley's wheelchair controls and what they do with him in that regard here and there.
Again, it's very responsive. You go the direction you go, you turn very fast in case you need. So there's that.
And, it is always nice to show a disabled character who still is very capable despite their disabilities, without making it seem like one of those plots that tries to go, oh, you can do everything a non-disabled person can do.
No, if anything, they will also play around with it a bit, as you will see later. Yay.
Nice.
Alright, next up, I think, if I recall, it's the last two major tutorial rooms for Sly.
All right, Bentley, let me have it.
In order to maintain our lavish lifestyles,
Yeah, here's actually also an improvement from the second game. Now, every time you steal an object, one of the rare ones that they can carry, you will also get automatically the number of coins, a display that tells you the number of coins of the value of the object in question. So you understand basically how much money do you gain before the counter rises up. Same goes for the objects that you gain from the war map, so for the hubs that you get back to the hideout. You don't actually have to sell them manually anymore. As soon as you get them to the hideout, they get sold, and you get to know the exact price tag that they had.
Again, it's
a minor quality of life improvement that only streamlines things better, but doesn't effectively change as much. And of course, again, we keep the base for Sly. There you go.
The sneaky base.
Yes.
Crates away! Great. Now, as any good thief knows, a job is only as successful as the getaway.
Of course.
I hear that.
Well, I mean, that is part of the job.
Fighting toe to toe.
You're not going to say I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Well, not now.
It's ironic because this is the game
Concentration's
that
like.
There's already other obvious one-liners in here, so
Sounds easy.
it's kind of ironic because, like Tia mentioned, this is the game that arguably focuses the most on giving Sly combat of sorts.
Even in general, most of the team is much more aggressive in terms of moveset, which is not really needed because the type of moves that roam around the map are basically the same as the second game, and you can work just fine. I wonder if the idea behind it was that Sucker Punch thought that the feedback from the second game was that it might have been too hard, so they wanted to even up a bit more the chance, but I don't know, I think it was manageable, especially using the stealth tactic from behind that Sly is known for. So I don't know. I mean, it's not really a big deal because at the end of the day, this stealth strategy is still the more preferable one instead of charging in guns blazing. There we go.
How about you stop setting these guards up to kill me?
Well, you could always take them out instead.
It needs to be authentic, Sly.
It reminds me of the first Tomb Raider movie and how that training robot Lara thought at the beginning was actively programmed to kill her.
Dig up behind him, triangle button, and knock him into the air. Then press
I like the first two.
And the guy who built it was like, "Why did you use live rounds? Because you programmed it to kill me."
Also, for some reason, Sly forgot to use the stealth takedown that you can gain from the second game, and he's back at using the loud one. So you will have to actually purchase it again once it becomes available on Thieves.net.
Everyone's favorite gaming trope: the character either loses their powers because of some convoluted event.
That's the thing, Dweebs. That's the thing, Dweebs. They don't even have an excuse in this game.
I haven't finished the sentence. Or they flat out forget.
I don't even know if it's a case of forgetting. To be fair, it was kind of an optional thing, so I get the idea that they thought not every player might have purchased it. But again, if you play normally Sly 2, you'll end up, at least around the endgame part, with more coins that you need to spend for, so you're bound to actually have all the upgrades you need. I don't know.
So get the Sly's now strong enough to knock Mooks at least 2 times his size up in the air and then literally grab him by the legs.
Actually, you could do that in the second game, Jova.
Yeah?
I never got to that.
What you can do, new in this, is to use environment to your advantage.
Make sure the guard's under its shadow before you know, knock him senseless.
Similar to the zombies one fight in the second game, you can use, there you go, these buttons to, if there is like an object that can smash a guard, you can press the button at the right time for some hilarious slapstick.
Lovely.
Alright, now for the final test, if I recall correctly, it's just climb. It's for the climbing one.
Oh boy. Pedro, get ready, Snake Eater.
There are no stairs, Jova.
I'm still in a dream. Yeah. Snake.
Yes, it was a ladder called LADDER.
Yeah, but the song is still awesome anyway, so we'll sing it anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't tell me, Jova. What do you think of the Smash remix of it?
Love it. Absolutely love that Smash remix.
Cool. There you go.
What did you think of it, Pedro?
Awesome. I actually forgot who did it, that remix. I know they say it in the credits, but
I think it is the one of the series composer. Let me check.
Oh, that reminds
Did
me.
Ipino
One
did
thing
it?
that may
Okay.
interest you, Tio, the composer from Nier and
Yeah, Keiichi Okabe did something including the Super Mario Bros. 2 themes. And I think I already mentioned somewhere else, but
he
remember...
also did the Air remix, apparently.
Remember, Sakurai mentioned that the composers were given absolute freedom in choosing what they did. And if you don't know, for the internet, the Super Mario Bros. 2 theme is commonly associated with thread posting type of videos, essentially showcasing a board like Rome/B, which showcase a user from 4chan fucking around, and with that as the main theme. So I do wonder if Mr. Okabe knew about something and wanted to inject some meme magic into it.
Yeah. And of course, Yoko Shimomura chose to do Cosmo Canyon, and also, of all things, Vega's theme from Street Fighter.
Mhm.
Didn't she do music on one of the Street Fighter games?
Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
The one that has the original Vega theme, which she herself did.
Anyway, tune in next time where we start with the first episode, which is set in Venice.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
see you for that.
See ya.
There.
See ya.